there, and welcome to another segment of Power Play Garage. There it is. It's full glory. And got the shirt on, in case you can't see the sign. Hopefully you can see the shirt. But anyhow, I painted a part over the weekend, and that part was the pitman arm, and I did make the change I referenced. It is longer, plenty of clearance. It's on there nice and snug and tight. It's nice glossy black, just like the rest of it, and it's in place. So the next thing I'm going to be opting for is to continue with that setup up there and get as much as everything I possibly can hooked up, wiring, you name it, got to do it, get her done. Maybe the running boards today. I want to try to get as much as I can hooked up today and out of the way. And being today is Monday, I think Wednesday I'm going to go and get the drive shaft situation taken care of, drop it off because I don't need it right away. I want to be able to move the car freely, and if the drive shaft's hooked up, then I'm going to end up coming underneath here and moving all the linkage to make sure it's in neutral. And really don't want to get into that. I do have to make sure that I get the lever up above hooked up before I can even do all that. So it'll only take them a couple of days, a few days, whatever. Doesn't matter. Car's not done, so I'm going to drop it off anyway and get that taken care of on Wednesday. So to the next part that I move along on, stand by. Alright, I'm back. I'm going to show you a few things that I've done since the prior little shot. So let me take you for a little walk, a little stroll. I have the fender on and the running board. And the nice trim piece is in. And I did put it in this scene here and the one back there. But I put it in upside down because I didn't want kind of to look like a crayon drawing. Just where it would do that. Maybe if it was the same exact color and you couldn't see it, that would be fine. But at least it is in, as you can see. Gives it a little cushion. And I believe the straight line from the back up here to the front is going to work out just fine. And not only is the fender on, but in order for me to put the fender on, I would have to put the headlight bezel on because it's basically two pieces, but it goes through here, and it's the same thing on the opposite side. And that was a lot of fun by myself because you have to not only have this mounting bracket, but the headlight goes in here, and you got to actually tighten up the nut for the headlight first and hopefully have it set nice. Then this, semi-rubber plastic piece goes on, and then underneath, because I wanted to add might as well take the tape off. I had the tape holding on, the tape was holding on my body bushing in place to make it easier. So because, like I mentioned prior, the cab is up, the fender has to be up. So it all follows the same plane. I got my freedom here in the front like I went for when I was making little changes on the frame. But I also made a list and I went and picked up the stuff I needed and had to do with grounds. And the first thing I wrote was ground cables and then a 16-inch, 18 to 20-inch. Wasn't really sure how they were going to actually come packaged or it would be loose like this, and that's how I got them. And then an alternator ground and a starter ground, 14 to 16 inch. Like I said, pending, I wasn't sure what I was going to find. And then for the starter, 26 inch. And I needed a total of 4. So a 16, a 20, say another 16, and a 26. So they already had this cable, which is the heavy one, which is going to go from the engine block to the frame. And I'm doing 2 of those. One on the back of the block where the transmission mounts. I might as well give you a little tour. and one where the engine mount bolt is, which is right here, which is the side of the block, which I'm going to take to a part on, I believe, the steering box. There's a bolt I want to run to. And when it comes to the transmission, it's going to go on this side as well. And that will run from here, and it'll run to the frame. And if I don't put it on this side for the engine block, I might put it on that side. Either way, the engine's going to be grounded twice alone. Twice by itself, not counting the alternator, which goes from here, and I will ground it to the engine block, the side right there. And then another one that I got that I wanted to get, there is a ground on it, and it's on the casing of the starter, and even you can see where it has, basically it spells out ground. So I'm going to take a ground from there and go from there, and it's going to lead back to the support that I made for the running board, and I'm going to bolt it in there. I truly believe in the more grounds the better, but that's me. That's how I like it. I've done it many a times. So if this way, if one ground fails, especially on the engine, the backup one would be the opposite one. If they both fail, which I would find kind of hard to believe, but there'll be a smaller secondary one that would come off to the starter and go to the frame, and the same thing with the alternator. So there's a lot of basically feedback to it. So that's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm going to be doing. And also, besides getting those cables, I bought what they had in length. Like this one here is like 5.5 feet. This is perfect for the alternator and the starter. And these are for the bigger ones like this. The heavier gauge is for the engine and the transmission. Well, obviously you need a way to fasten them, and here they are. I got enough, and that all should work. Nice copper ones, and these other ones, these are for the smaller wire, and these are for the bigger ones. So that's what I've been doing. I'm glad to have that done. Tomorrow afternoon, the client will be coming here to help me with the driver's side and the running board, because it was a bit of a task by myself. So having her help, knowing that she helped put the quarter on and the side skirts on, it'll turn out really nice. And you know, free help for her is free help. That's how I see it. So let me get back to this, getting all the grounds hooked up and moving forward on that, and I'll get back to you when all that stuff is in. I'm back, and there's Puss in Boots, and she just okayed all the work I just did. She's coming over to give me her approval and expects me to pet her. There you go, kitty. There you go, Puss in Boots. There, girl. All right, so I'm here to show you all the grounds I hooked up. I threw an additional one. Right there you see attached to the metal on the body, and then going down to the frame. Even though all the body bolts that come through there are technically grounding the body to the frame. So also, as you see right here, I have that heavier gauge wire that goes into the frame, loops around, comes back, and bolts to the side of the transmission, which goes into the block of the engine. So that one's in place. This one right here that we see, this one comes to part of the frame, which is actually welded for the steering box, and goes up to the side of the engine mount. There we go, that's what I was looking for. And then another one coming out from the engine mount and running up to the ground on the alternator. So we have that as well. Let's see, so there's that one there, that one there, that one over there, that one over there, and then we got another one. Nice size gauge wire off the back end of the starter, which then runs over here to my bracket / bolt that I saved when I put in that brace. So I have all these additional grounds. It's what I like, and it's done. I don't believe I'll need to do any more, and I'm very satisfied with all the grounds and where I put them. So this way, there shouldn't be any issues with the thing being grounded. So the next thing I'm going to do is mount these bumper stops. They go back here somewhere. I don't know if they bolt to the rear, to the frame or something. But they were purchased for the car, and I'm going to see where I can install them. I can't imagine where these actually would go. There's a lot of gap there, but I'll figure something out. Leaving right there. That lines up. So that's the next little venture. Going to get these bolted up. Trying to get all the little things done and get them out of the way. So until the next phase, stand by. It's the next day and I'm back on that. So here's the scoop. Let me show you. The exhaust is next. Yesterday I actually added an extra ground from the frame to the body. I probably pointed that out already. I've done a couple other things. I start getting lost in how much is being done, but the exhaust is next. So when they originally put the exhaust in, they had it welded all in one piece, and they had it tunneled through here, which is good. I like that idea, but everything was welded, so we ended up just cutting where the weld is, and come to find out, it was only sleeved in at best a 1/4 of an inch over here, 1/8 to 3/16. So what I'm going to end up doing is fixing that problem and not making it weld all one piece. I will be taking this, which I just picked up at Advance. It's the same diameter as the pipe. I'm going to cut it right here, right where it divots, and have two pieces because they did it to both sides. And at the same time, once I cut this, I'm first going to cut this piece off. And when I do that, then I'll have enough to where I can actually extend it into the pipe over here. Right there. So it'll sleeve in there, and I bought 2 clamps, and I'll be able to clamp that back together. So that's the scoop on the exhaust. And once it's all done, I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to paint it because it's not very nice looking. Not very nice looking at all. So I got some engine paint, which is close to the color of the pipes as it is, and it should all blend in. And I will take some steel wool and clean the chrome tips. So, and then I also got a different bushing for this because they have it mounted to this top hole right here. Out of the 3, it's the top one. And I got basically 1 piece rubber mount. And where did I set it? Dang. Can't believe it. Oh, it's in the box, in the bag. Yeah, here it is with the clamps. So I'm taking this particular rubber mount, which is made for the exhaust, and I'm going to make a couple of cuts. So I'll have 2 pieces and get rid of the center, and I'll be able to bolt it on, because when I slipped that up there was a gap, and the gap is roughly this thick. So that'll work out really nice right up there, and I'll be able to rubber mount it right there. And then they have another hanger that goes back here, and they had it mounted, I believe, somewhere up there. So that's the plan. That's my next step. So once I got at least one side done, I'll show you. But in the meantime, stand by. It's the next day, and I'm back. We had a great day yesterday, the client and I. We were able to accomplish, I think, pretty good, a lot, knowing I needed the help. two people to put these running boards on in the fender is a lot easier than me doing it by myself like I did for the right side. But here we are. It's in place. Car is up, obviously, and looking nice and pretty. I also worked on the exhaust. I cleaned them up, painted them. I did some extending welding pieces, and this isn't in yet 100% because another story to this, we were told originally that, because with my helper, Daniela, that she remembers that the pipe was over the axle between the frame, but that wasn't the case. What ended up happening is, because we kept going in and out with the darn thing and it wasn't working, we realized that the suspension that Daniel put on, which she did a nice job, that she had it way too high. It lifted the ass way too much. So this bracket would not reach where the hook is. So I made the adjustments even on both sides, and now the car sits at the correct plane when it's on all fours. And once that happens, then we'll be able to bolt that up like it belongs. And I'll add a bushing to that like I showed on the other side. So I'm going to show you what the exhaust looked like before, and then you just saw what it looked like after. I'm about to paint the other half, and then I'll clean up the chrome tip with some steel wool. But this is how ugly it looks, and I actually cleaned it up. I took a wire wheel over it. I had to weld in a couple of holes. They were leaking, and I think they welded this up while it was in the car, because the big section I guess they couldn't get, I had to weld, and it was all open, and there was the black exhaust running out. So I know for sure it was leaking. So I took care of all that. Now I'm going to paint it. Once it's painted, then I'll take the steel wool over the chrome. And the other front half for the right side, there it is, all nicely cleaned up and painted. Yep, high temp paint, so hopefully nothing will come off. But we got a lot done yesterday. Today was Wednesday. I did go and drop off the drive shaft. Told them what I needed, what I had to have, and it should be done in a day or two. And I was kind of shocked and happy at the same time. So here's the front view with the headlight bezel on that one, along with that one. We're cooking along. Can't wait. So the next move is I'm going to paint the other piece. While it's drying, I'm going to put that one on and go on from there. So until the next move, stand by. All right, I'm back. And I had to pick up a tool to use for this exhaust, so I got it. And because it's later in the evening, I won't mess with it until tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is the exhaust. I need to flare this out so that it fits a little snugger into the other piece. So when I put the clamp on there, I don't really have to wrench down so darn hard to make it fit tight. So that's the reason why I had to get an expansion tool for it. And I did. And everything is painted and ready to go. And at the same time, just going to end this segment of this beautiful 33 5-window coupe. And tomorrow, I'll start another segment. And tomorrow, the client will be here giving me a hand on some of the small things to where you need somebody on the outside as well as the inside, like the steering columns and stuff like that. Steering column, one column, not two or three. But anyhow, I do appreciate people watching. If the people that are watching hasn't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it if you did. But until the next segment, trying to get something done. Thanks for watching.